myself.
This is Corporal Mackey of the Chatham County Sheriff's Department, Corporal Desatel, and Mayor Glenn Jones of Port Wentworth. Time now is 1:25. Today's date is 8/12/2016. Mayor Jones, we're here to discuss to you about the situation happened with Councilwoman Debbie Williams. Do you know anything? What do you know about the situation?
Debbie Williams or Debbie Johnson?
I'm sorry, Debbie Johnson. What happened? What do you know about the situation of the picture that happened?
Well, I'm aware of the picture, and like I've stated to the press, I thought it was horrible, distasteful. This goes on in the city of Port for years, where people go after each other politically wise. Me and Councilwoman Johnson at times have disagreed politically, but I've had 16 people sit below me, and not one person in my 11 years as mayor have I disagreed at some time. That being said, no one, and I mean no one, should be ridiculed by that. And a picture like that is distasteful, and I don't think I wouldn't want that to happen to my worst enemy. And I will tell you also that when I was made aware of it, I was out of town, that it hit Facebook. I will tell you that the Facebook page, the gentleman who started that page, I met him about a year or so ago, about this time. It was right before the elections, when everybody was rah-rah-rahing, and of course I wasn't up for election. So I just, them are the good times when it's year off year. So, but he asked me if I would join his forum, political forum page, whatever, and answer any questions. If anyone had a question to ask about the elections or about city hall business, would I answer? I said, sure, no problem. People who know me know I love to talk to people, and I'm never going to shy away from helping someone. No one ever asked me a question. I have never answered a question on that forum. It comes across Facebook. I'm not one to sit down and look at Facebook every day. When I was made aware that the picture had surfaced, I thought it was ridiculous. The gentleman, he has an ongoing feud with the HOA people. That's part of it. From my understanding, he has an ongoing feud with the three people who are council people in the northern part of Port Wentworth. And he's got an ongoing feud, from my understanding, with one of my nemesis, Mr. Hawks. So, and that's fine too, because Mr. Hawks has been after anybody in the city of Port Wentworth for as long as I remember, and I finally met him 11 years ago when I ran for mayor. But all that being said, to do that to anyone is horrendous. You always look back and say, when I saw it, undoubtedly someone told him, because, they come back, and I was made aware that Thursday night at a council meeting, and I saw it, and if someone said, I think Debbie, and rightfully so, was upset with me, because she thought that I had something to do with it. I have made the comment. I go to the Band of Brothers prayer breakfast on Friday mornings where Sheriff Wiltshire goes. And we spoke this morning briefly. And it's been my motto for the last couple of weeks that my best friend and my mother and my wife might not believe me. But as long as me and my God knows that I did not take that picture and I had nothing to do with that picture going to the gentleman who posted it on Facebook, that's all I got to know, is knowing that I did not have anything with the copy of the picture and the sent to it. Now, does Debbie believe that I'm friends with the gentleman? He's an acquaintance. I've known him for a year, about this time last year. He is an acquaintance who is, quite frankly, when they get in that political stuff up that northern end of the city, and I will tell you that the head of the HOA, there's no hiding. Me and Fred Williams are friends outside of politics. Actually, my grandson's grandfather on the other side of the family is Fred's brother. So that's where we are friendship-wise. Politically, me and Fred don't see eye to eye. No home builders in cities do. This gentleman thought that since I don't see eye to eye, he thought he could kind of side up with me, and then he actually, during the elections, kind of supported the same person I did, Mr. Holbrook, who got defeated by Councilman Barbie. Sometimes the weird part of pulling off elections is I defeated Councilman Holbrook 11 years ago, and then he didn't support me in my second go around. So it's weird how politics goes on here. So I don't get involved with all this stuff that goes on. But I will tell you this, and I'll be even honest with you. I've talked to again, I said I wouldn't call them names, but a political person in Chatham County who called me, and we're friends. She's a council person, or she's a commissioner, or however how you want to say it, and she wanted to help me to kind of bridge the gap between me and Debbie. Because if I was in Debbie's shoes at this time, I'd probably hate me too, because she's been embarrassed. And the reason I thought about this, and I will tell you, I'm a man of my word, and I'm a Christian person. Now, reason you won't see me, I get mad a little bit, and when I understood that something may be happening at council meeting, I walked back in here and I got my thoughts together, and I said, you know what happens, it happens, but I know I'm straight up with it. I'm good. When that picture was taken, I'm not so sure. There's no hiding the fact is, there ain't no stupid. The fact is, exactly where it was. I agree with someone said it could not have been out in the council chambers because of the way the wall is blocked. Was it taken inside this room right here, in the backside? I'm sure y'all have already saw it, the training room. Probably so. Was it taken during a workshop, or was it taken during a executive session? I am not positively sure. Do I have an idea? Yes. Would I put my hand up in the court of law and say I know for a factual? I'm not positively sure.
Well, let me ask you a question, Mr. Mayor. Who told you about the picture?
I was made aware of it by a friend that was on Facebook, and I already knew about the picture.
What's your friend name that told you?
I'd rather not say.
And how long have you, Mr. Staley, Mr. Staley, you said a year.
I told him about this time last year. The elections are in November. Sometime during, this is when they are just qualifying right now. So maybe even a little bit later. Maybe somewhere between when they qualified and the election is when I met him. And I'll tell you the first time I met him, I'll tell you exactly where I met him at, because I'd already heard he had done some good things in Lakeshore. I'd heard his name. My sister used to live in Lakeshore. And I'd heard some people, because if anybody who knows me knows I'm big on recreation. High school athletics, recreation, and public safety. That's two things that I ran for office for, public safety and recreation. Now I know there's many other things. But I'd heard some good things there. So I said, I'd like to meet this guy. And we even set up a meeting. Ironically, we set up a meeting to meet like the following week just to introduce myself to him. But we went up to a thing that Lakeshore had, a meet and greet or whatever they have. Politicians, they do that kind of stuff. I try not to do a whole lot of it, But I went up here, and actually Mr. Steele walked up at the time with the former HOA director, Mike Yarnbert. And so they introduced me to him, and I said, well, we met you now, so I was meeting him later. That's when it happened. Do I know him personally? No, I don't.
Do y'all have any mutual friends? Y'all share any conversation, eat lunch, or anything like that?
I tell you, the only time I ever met him, besides being in here or in a political forum, on I believe it was a Saturday before the elections, Mr. Holbrook called me. Mr. Holbrook owns the deli mart here, who was a council person who just got defeated, who was the mayor, who I defeated as mayor. Mr. Holbrook called me and he said, hey, can you come up here and maybe help me out and answer some questions? I've got some of my supporters are going to be here down in this deli mart in the northern end of the city. I said, sure, but I don't have a long time. So I went up there. There was maybe two other people, Mr. Steele being one of them.
So who were the other people?
Who were they? I don't think I knew the other gentleman's name, and I want to think. You know what? I'm not sure if You'd have to ask him, or I could ask him. I want to think if Mayor Pro Tem Bowers had been there. It wasn't that many, and I really thought like that I was kind of reeled into this. Because I will tell you this, when I don't get involved, now I will tell my people quietly, my father was a councilman for years, and my father used to tell people he had like 50 votes, because people would call him and ask him who to vote for. Same way with me. I have a lot of people ask me, and I will tell them. So sometimes in the political realm of things, I know what I got out of Mr. Holbrook. I didn't know what I had out of Mr. Barbie. So yes, I wanted Mr. Holbrook to win. It ain't always happened that way. The time before that, I wanted a lady out of Rice Hope to win, because at the time, Councilwoman Powers, who was running for election, she was under Fred's quote-unquote regime of people that he was supporting. So at the time, I wanted that lady, and I can't even remember her name. But now, since Councilwoman Powers come on like a lot of council people do, once they find out the quote truth about certain things that are spread out there, she is now separated herself and distanced herself with Councilwoman Johnson, and I think there's been an ongoing feud between all of them. All that being said, again, I don't have time to get involved with all that because I'm the leader of this city. I thought I've done a terrific job. I get blasted by this gentleman, Mr. Hawks. I got blasted in the paper the other day, but that's okay because he's only got about 5 friends in this city. He goes and talks in one ear and out the other, and he even talks about well, that's another story. But that's how he is. So, that being said, I cannot remember 100% accuracy. But I do not think, now has me and Mr. Steele ever sat down, like him called me up to go drink a beer? Or anything like that? Oh, no. We're more of acquaintances, and quite frankly, I think he's a little upset with me now from what I hear because his wife, out of all the people in Port Wentworth, in F&M County and everybody else, she happened to run into one of our police cars. And, so I'm sure y'all aware that she's got a lawsuit against the city. So and then when someone has a lawsuit against me, the city, you're having a lawsuit against me, and y'all understand all of that. So I'm not going to speak to you. Now, if you come up to me and talk to me about anything else, I'm not going to talk to you about the lawsuit. And I think one time he was up here, he's looking for me, and I told him that. And I think he walked out of here kind of upset, which is fine.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. I got a straightforward question. Do you know who took the picture?
I have a great idea.
And whom do you think it was?
I'm not going to name a name. I'm sure you'll find it, but I have thought through this and thought through this and thought through this. And I am not going to implicate anyone, not unless if we go. I've told people, and please understand that. But I have told this, and I've even, if it comes to the court of law, and I would not blame Debbie if she did. Would not blame Debbie if she did. And I will tell what I know. But at the same time, I stay out of all this. Again, as I quoted to y'all earlier, I don't care if anybody else believes me. Me and my God knows I didn't have anything with the picture taken or giving it to be put on Facebook. Again, I will say this: when I walked out, I come in here and I'll tell you, I come in here, I said a prayer because I didn't want someone to be up here ridiculing her. And even when we went into the executive session, we probably should not even have been talking about that in the executive session, but it was a personnel matter enough. We get paid as council people, but personnel, whatever, but me and my attorney agreed this was such a sensitive matter. It didn't need to be carried on out there. So, all that being said, I don't blame Debbie for being upset with me or thinking. Now, you can go back and go pull up Mr. Steely's personal Facebook page, and you won't see my name under his being his friend. Now, you go look at that Facebook forum page. I'm assuming now, I guess he's took that off. I ain't seen, I even went back and looked. And I ain't seen nothing lately, which, quite frankly, does not matter to me one way or another.
I mean, who are all the people that are generally in your sessions as far as your executive sessions?
I can tell you exactly what it should be. All of my council, me, my council,
How many councilmen you have?
We have 6.
Could you name them for me?
Now,
Yes. Well, who would have been, let's say, the pictures was taken a year ago.
year ago councils, that would have been Bowers, Heron, Holbrook, Powers, Stanhope, and Johnson.
And 2 of those are no longer on council, right?
Correct. Stanhope and Holbrook. And then besides them, for the most part, it's my city attorney, which will be one of 2 people, Elizabeth Pavlis or Eric Gottwalt. Gottwalt's our senior, and Pavlis is our secondary. They both represent us. So one or the other's always here. Mr. Philip Claxton, who's our city administrator, he's in there, and Miss Miriam Jordan, who's our clerk of council. The only other people who should be in there is if we're talking, which I'll give you some examples. If we're talking about, we're just talking about a real estate matter, we brought our engineer people in. Our engineers come in on that particular time. If we're talking about a personnel matter that might do with something to do with our police or something scenario like that, I may bring Major Sherriff or Chief Libby in. But 95% of the time, it's me, my city council, our attorney, city administrator, and clerk of council.
You've seen the picture. Does that picture remind you of a session time? Do you remember being dressed like that any session?
No, sir. I've thought that through that in my mind. Me and my wife have talked about that. Let me tell you what, my wife is about ready for me to get out of here. She is sick and tired of it. I will tell you this, this will be my 12th year next year. I've done a lot of good things. I'm so proud of what we've done in public safety. I would love to be able to go back and ask the citizen forum to ask me to let me run one more time, because we just bought the land to build a new recreation complex. And I would love to be able to see that through. But I'm telling you what, this right here is hitting my wife and it hit me. Because I will tell you, when I was telling you Thursday night, when I come in here and I prayed, and I said, God, I thought about Debbie Johnson's daughter, who goes to Mercer University. I met her. And I thought to myself, if that would have been my wife and my daughter, or my grandkids had to see my wife, I wouldn't be mayor today. I'd have been kicked somebody's ass if I'd have found them. I'll be honest with you. And that's the same exactly why Debbie Johnson got so upset in there and yelling and screaming and got up and walked out. And from what I understand, after the fact, they told me that she got very belligerent and got loud outside. Hey, don't blame her. Did me and her see eye to eye on things? A lot of times, not.
That's politics.
That's politics. This right here is got to do with flat out going after someone who they don't like or you don't like them, and getting back at them and thinking it's funny. Now, me and you and those 3 of us, we sitting around a bar, and if we're drinking a beer, someone sends you a picture, or you see a picture or whatever, you go show everybody, everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's good, and you think about it, and you hope it goes away. When it resurfaced, it made me sick. She will never believe that. I probably won't blame her if she did.
Well, let me ask you something else. You said you have an idea who it is. Have you spoken to that person who you thought it was?
No, sir. No, sir.
With that bar scenario thought in mind, a year ago, that bar scenario happened with you involved? That where it popped up?
I'm sorry, the what now?
With that bar scenario thought in mind,
Yep.
a year ago, or close to the time this picture was supposedly taken, that pop up where you saw that picture then? To where you saw that picture in a private setting and not published for everyone to see, to where her family to see?
That picture was sent to me.
By whom?
That picture was sent to me.
Yes.
I will tell you, I kept it for a while. I'm going to change the text. I'm going to tell you, at first I wasn't going to tell you this, because you can't get it out of me. I'm going to tell you this, and you can take it to the bank. I saw that picture, and I thought it was horrendous then. I looked at it. I come home and showed it to my wife. when I got it, whenever it come up. My wife says, delete that off your phone, because my wife is a Christian woman now, to the point that I told you I would be the mayor today if it happened to my wife, and if I could have proved who did it. I kept it for a while. The reason? Because if it did surface, I wanted to be, by God, sure. Because I ain't going to jail. I ain't going to bat for nobody who does things like this. And I kept it to sure. If you was to walk up to me, I'll say, here. Now, am I 100% positively sure that the person who sent it to me took it? Only God knows that.
So who sent it to you?
Well, that's like I told you, I'm not going to call any names. But I will tell you this. I finally decided, and this is kind of crazy, but between the City Hall, and I'm the supervisor at Georgia Pacific in Rincon, and I'm the liaison for Georgia High School for baseball and softball, so I get text messages galore, phone calls. So every once in a while, I'll sit down watching a ball game and go through my text messages and start cleaning out my texts every so many months. And finally I saw it, and I said, well, this is going away. And no one for the better, and no one for the better. And as far as I don't know who else knew about it or saw about it. I had my ideas, so I deleted it. It resurfaced, what, a month or so ago now, maybe? A little over a month, I don't know, whenever it was. And I went and I told my wife, and she says, my wife's saying the same thing I said. My wife, she was upset with it too.
Mr. Mayor, let me ask you something. You say you're a Christian. You said that you believe that it should be right. Things that are done wrong should be made right, shouldn't you?
Yep.
So why wouldn't you tell us who sent you the picture if you know that it could set things straight?
I would think, because you're going to set it straight. I know you will. That's your job. That's your job, and you will set it straight. People who do this, their mindset is crooked. But at the same time, this is a small town. A bigger town. It's doubled in size since I've been mayor, which is a good thing, right? Well, I guess sometimes it's a good thing. I chose to be the mayor of this city. I told someone years ago, I said, I don't think I have an enemy unless I called your son out on balls and strikes at the ball game. And then you would probably cuss me out because I'm blind as hell, you think. But I don't think I had an enemy other side of the ballpark, and that's because of the ball. I had some people told me, some elderly seniors told me, you're going to lose some friends because of the ballpark. Because of the City Hall. And I have. I've lost some. I've made some good people mad at me. Some good people, because I couldn't do what they wanted. So all that being said, this is sick.
Okay. Well,
this is sick, but it's going to come, and it will. But I'm not going to be the one, because I have nothing to do with this.
Well,
that's it.
you are.
So I'm not going to implicate anyone to the point unless you subpoena me to court and tell me to put my hand up.
Okay, that's fine. We're not going to do that
Sure.
right now. How long ago did you first get it?
Oh, I have even no idea. It was. I don't even know what the month or the year was, or when it was. Y'all could remind me, and I might could say, yeah.
Yeah, and something I do, holiday game. It's now, what is it? It's August.
Mm-hmm.
Before or after Valentine's Day, do you think?
This past year?
Yeah. This past
Yeah, it was way back. It was, well, yeah, like I say, it's been so long ago, I forgot about it.
Okay.
And then it just resurfaced here again, what, a month ago, like I said?
So when it resurfaced a month ago, would that have been before or after? You say resurfaced.
Or resurfaced. I say resurfaced.
Right.
It surfaced. I don't know. Here again, only God knows who else seen that picture.
Right, but what I'm going to say about resurfaced, you say...
And that's the wrong word, resurfaced, because it didn't surface. It surfaced on my phone, and I say it resurfaced. It came up
on Facebook a month ago.
Yeah,
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't get a text message again or a picture message again?
No.
Okay,
Certain.
that's what I was trying to clarify.
100% certain.
It came up on Facebook a month ago.
That's-
you did not get another picture message.
Oh no.
You received a picture message one time,
Yeah.
and that was
I think, and here again, and I've been trying to pinpoint it, and hindsight's 2020. Would you keep it again? But look here, my wife even asked me.
well. When was she voted on council? How long has she been a councilwoman?
Debbie would be. This is her. This is Debbie's third year.
Okay.
She got elected in. It's 2015. She got elected. This will be her third year. So it's 2000.
She was up for re-election last November.
No. She's already been on. She's already been on. Her and Miss Powers ran at the same time I ran. God, I'm trying to get my years right. 16, 15, 14. So yeah, no, 13. 'Cause we started out my third term, 14, 15, 16 years. Our third year. Next year we'd be up for re-election.
Okay.
So she would be up. So this is her third year of her first term.
Okay.
So are you saying did it happen even maybe after she got elected, and then it got sent to me later
Well,
on?
it definitely would have happened after she was elected. 'Cause
Oh
it's
yeah,
very
yeah. Or she
session.
would never. I didn't even
but,
know her.
But there was elections this
Past
past
November.
November.
Yes.
So did it happen after?
Oh,
past
after that.
November elections.
Here again, I would think. Yeah. I ain't that. That's just my mind boggled. Yeah, it's been so long ago. Yeah.
And you referee?
Yeah.
You referee football also? Then you got to know what happened during football
Baseball.
season or not.
Oh no, I wouldn't know that. I do
Huh?
baseball and basketball. I do it all, so they all cross together, Bo.
What?
Yeah.
Well, no, I coach wrestling and football. I can tell you what happened in wrestling,
Oh
football,
my!
and baseball season.
Look here. This is tonight will be my 33rd year of refereeing high school football, and I'm a white hat, and I still lose my mind sometimes. So, and the reason I gave up basketball is when I got into politics. So yeah, because I'm the liaison for Georgia High School in baseball. So I've been fortunate to referee the high school football playoffs. So that goes in November, and basketball's already started. So I try to take that break between November and December because we start having meetings for baseball in January and February. So I gave up basketball. I'm not saying I hadn't refereed any of that, but mostly I'm just baseball and football now, football and baseball. But
So did it happen? So if you can recall, did it happen football season or baseball season?
honestly, I would think it happened last year sometime. And I would think it's so long ago. Now, if we could figure out a way at Verizon to go back and look, I could tell you. But I've been trying to pinpoint exactly myself.
Yeah.
It happened in there. Yeah.
Exactly, it's going to be impossible because
Yeah.
it was long ago.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to narrow things down
Mhm.
with holidays because everyone's familiar with holidays.
Mhm.
You're a ref, so
Yeah.
seasons are familiar with
Yeah,
you.
and I will tell you that. And then I started even saying, if it was during an executive session, I started picturing. Usually, people sit in the same area. I stand up.
Well, man, since you
So-
say that, Fred Williams took a video of one of your sessions where,
Not my executive session.
no, not the executive session,
Yeah.
one of the council meetings.
Oh yeah, he was doing that for a while. Yeah.
And you went into a executive session within that meeting.
Yeah, we have executive sessions, not every time, but probably 75% of the time we have executive sessions during a council meeting.
Within that same time,
Mhm.
there's a picture with Fred Williams showing Miss Johnson dressed and her hair in the same manner
Mm-hmm.
as the picture was taken.
Mm-hmm.
When we spoke to Miss Johnson said she remembered it was a year ago because she went on a cruise, and the only time she does her hair or braid her hair is
She's
when she
probably
goes
right.
on a cruise.
She's probably right.
So
And if she went on a cruise, it would you would think most people would go on cruises. Would go during the summer or the fall. Here again, it's been so long ago. I would think if you had to ask me, if I was guessing, and a pretty good guess, was it before November elections? I would say yes.
So where does
Uh,
everybody sit when you say everybody generally sit, and
Yeah.
and that's a consensus because
Oh, yeah,
you generally sit with who you're comfortable
Yeah,
with.
well, I usually during. That's why I'm trying to narrow it down. If we have workshops, if we have it's according to how the workshop is. Now this is different than executive session where anybody can come in. But again, most
just
people
executive session.
Yeah, all right, executive session. You know, I stand up. I very rarely ever sit down because I stand up because I kind of control the meeting or the count, or I'll let my attorney handle what he's got there, or Mr. Classen. But I stand up, and but usually everybody will just kind of spread out, and you know, and you'll sit at different places. And then when I started thinking, I said, well, you know, and again, Miss Johnson being a big woman, you know, can't cross her legs. And the picture says it all. Just cannot, look, is it funny when you see that from somewhere else? You see it on celebritygossip.com on the internet about a celebrity. You see it and you brush it off. And then when I saw it then, I saw it and distasteful, but brushed it off.
So when did you first see the picture?
Well, when I don't know when it was taken and when I took it.
No, I'm not saying when it was taken.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know
saw
exactly when exactly. I can't remember that. I can't remember exactly when I saw it.
Okay, well, where were you